U.S. removes Sudan from terrorism blacklist in return for $335 million.
Here's a summary of the article.
Washington has removed Sudan from a terrorism blacklist after the country agreed to pay $335 million in compensation for its alleged role in the bombing of 2 U.S. embassies in East Africa by al-Qaeda in 1998. Donald Trump tweeted the news of the deal on Monday. Great news. New government of Sudan, which is making great progress, agreed to pay $335 million to U.S. terror victims and families. Once deposited, I will lift Sudan from the state sponsors of terrorism list. At long last, justice for the American people and big step for Sudan, he wrote. Hamdok tweeted, "Thank you so much, President Trump. We very much look forward to your official notification to Congress rescinding the designation of Sudan as a state sponsor of terrorism, which has cost Sudan too much." The U.S. has moved to incrementally restore relations with Sudan over recent years but has insisted that outstanding legal claims are settled before the country is struck from its list of state sponsors of terrorism. U.S. officials hope the move will encourage Sudan to establish official diplomatic relations with Israel. The designation as a state sponsor of terrorism has denied Sudan access to desperately needed debt relief and foreign financing. Courts in the U.S. found Sudan guilty of providing essential support to al-Qaeda when bin Laden was based in the country between 1991 and 1996. Some have contested the basis for the compensation claim, saying Sudan sought to cooperate with the U.S. by expelling bin Laden.
This post received a score of 5,400, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
So whether or not you're considered a terrorist state can be decided with a bribe. Like a bad Yelp review or some shit. This really is just a massive game of capitalist superpowers exploiting third world countries.
This is neocolonialism. You can't trade or do business with the world until you pay the colonizer first.
Different age, new tactics. They've just successfully made a legal form of colonialism.
Greater than a legal form of colonialism. Colonialism and slavery were also legal back in the day. Means and ends have no difference for them.
Slavery is still legal in the U.S. 13th Amendment.
But they smoked weed when they knew it was illegal, so they deserve it, idiots.
Wonder how much the U.S. owes them for al-Shifa.
Americans liberated the factory same way they did to Iraq and countless others. Disgusting.
I recall taking a lot of shit at school as a Muslim when this happened. People yelling in the hallways, "We're bombing your country." I'm from Pakistan.
I am sorry you had to deal with this, no child should. I hope your life has been full of love and happiness, my friend.
This title is extremely misleading. It makes it seem like the US is getting paid this money to do whatever it wants with. It is for the victims of acts of terror to be used as relief and restitution.
Greater than it is for the victims of acts of terror to be used as relief and restitution. It's good that victims are getting relief and restitution, but how does paying that make a country less likely to commit terrorism?
From what I heard on NPR, there was a regime change last year. The terror acts were committed and sponsored by the previous regime. That dictator was overthrown, and there is a new government in place. The new government made this settlement in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions, terror list sanctions, so that they could start to rebuild their economy, and hopefully move the country in a new direction. Hopefully.
That makes it even worse. Like punishing a mass shooter's children and then expecting them to pay you back.
This is one of the main points of a sovereign state. It exists as a durable entity that carries debts, etc., irrespective of who is in charge at that moment.
Victims won't get a penny.
The American guy has such a shit-eating grin.
US should add itself to that list.
I like how quickly everyone provides context to this, as opposed to the Iran pallets of cash scandal, when context wasn't provided by the other side.
I don't know why anyone is surprised. The Saudis paid us plenty to make sure they weren't put on that list in the first place.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.